Did you guys hear my question?
Yes, we had your question. I was waiting for somebody else to speak before me. Hi, coach. Okay, so we taught branding and graphic design, talked about brand as itself, graphic design principles, branding process, logo design class, type of logos, and Adobe. The last class was about, I think, Adobe Illustrator. So that's what we have been up to.
Okay, okay, thank you. So, um, today I'm going to be showing us how to design a logo because you guys have been taught um some things in Illustrator, I guess. So I'm just going to like show you how to design some logos. I'll just pick a few logos and walk us through how they were achieved or stuff like that. Okay, so I'll be sharing my screen now. Mm, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So is there anybody here that is not familiar with the Illustrator interface? So first of all, um, from your own understanding, and this question goes out to everybody, from your understanding, what is a logo? We are only like six, so I want the class to be very interactive. From your understanding, I know that you've been taught a bit about logo design and brand identity and stuff. From your understanding, what is a logo?
Okay, okay, okay.
Did you guys?
From my understanding, can I speak?
Yeah, yeah, you can. You can.
Okay. From my own understanding, from the old classes we've had, I think logos are shapes or images, even text that depict the name and purpose of a business or a brand.
Okay. Okay. Very good answer. Any other person?
I'm sorry. A logo is like a symbol that represents a brand or a business.
Okay. So from what you've been taught, um, what are the characteristics that a good logo should have?
Okay, it must be easily recognized when people see it, like just like example, the Nike logo, when we see just the swoosh sign, we already know that okay, this is Nike. Then a good logo must be very flexible. It must not be very hard for people to identify what company it belongs to just by looking at it. It shouldn't be hard for people to identify.
Okay. Okay. Good answer. Good answer. So I just wanted to know the level that like where you guys are so that I know where exactly I'm stepping in. You guys have been taught the Illustrator interface, right? Like you've gone through Illustrator on your own, or you've been walked through it by a facilitator, right?
Yes.
Okay. So today we are we're just going to design something simple because like from your answers, a good logo is meant to be simple, memorable, and unique. Those are the three characteristics of a very good logo: simple, memorable, and unique. So the first thing you do actually before designing a logo is to ask questions or to do research about the niche or the brand that you're designing for, so that you don't design out of the scope or something. And I'm sure you guys have been taught the different types of logos that we have.
Yes, we have.
So,
Yes, we have.
all right. So today we are going to be designing which of these logos now. Okay, let's do the shell logo. Today we're going to be designing the shell logo in Illustrator. So mm, just like how my former class was, I want this to be very interactive. And if I'm moving too fast, please bring me back so I carry everybody along. At least today we are few, so I don't I don't leave anybody behind. Okay, so first of all, we are designing this shell logo. In the logo design process, there are different steps, and most logo designers like to sketch before they open their design software, but some other people don't sketch at the same time. So is left for is the designer's discretion. In as much as somebody will come out tomorrow and tell you, oh, these are the steps you need to follow. Different people have their different processes to design. There are some brands that I get to work with that I have to sketch before I vectorize the logo. But there are some that, as they're explaining their brand to me, I'm already getting a mental picture of what their logo is meant to look like. So for today, I'm just going to show us how we achieve this shell logo. So every logo is just a combination of symbols, shapes, just a combination of shapes, basically. So for this shell logo, what do you think the first shape The first shape we should go with is meant to be. It's an open question to the house. Where would you start from if you were to design this? If you had, let's say you've sketched this shell logo out, you sketched it out based on the brand preference and the brief that they gave you. What would be the first step that you take?
Probably start with a circle, or I think a circle.
Okay, that was what was in my head, Sha. So I start with an ellipse. The shortcut is L on your keyboard for those that do not know. So I'll draw my ellipse. It does not have any color because our fill color and our stroke color are both empty. So I'll just give it a color. Let's just leave it at black for now. So the next thing I'm going to do is to draw a rectangle. I'll come back to my shape tool, select the rectangle tool. Draw a rectangle. So to align two objects together, because I want these two objects to be aligned at the center. To align two objects together, you select the both of them. And then if you look above here, you see the alignment tool. But it's also here too as well. And before I even go further, why my Illustrator is looking like this is because I'm using the workspace I'm using is Essentials Classic. So just in case you open your Illustrator and you may not be looking exactly the way mine is looking. I'm working on the workspace called Essentials Classic. So how do you get there? You go to the Windows tab and then go to Workspace, and then you can find all the workspaces there. But then the one I'm using is Essentials Classic. Did everybody get that? Did you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Okay.
you.
All right. All right. So I want to align the both of them. So I'm just going to select two of them by either clicking on an empty space and dragging till I get the both of them, or clicking on the first one, holding down shift on my keyboard and clicking on the second one. Then I want to align them to the center. So with that done, I know that the base here is not just flat. It has like a slight angle. So I'm just going to add that now. There are actually different ways to do this, but I just want to use this method. I just want to go through this route. So how do I do that? With my rectangle selected, I come to the direct selection tool. And we can see that the rectangle is not looking how it was looking when I was with my selection tool. So I choose that direct selection tool, and this helps you customize your shape, whatever shape it is. So I'm just going to click on this point, select only that point, and use my arrow key to like move it. Select the second point and move it in the other direction. Now we have that it's looking a bit the way this one is looking. I think I'll just increase the size of my circle a bit. So if you want to increase your shape, whatever shape it is, even your text, whatever elements that you have on your artboard, if you want to increase it and make sure that it maintains the size, it does not like distort, you have to hold down shift when you're increasing from the edge here. Hold down shift. Then if you want it to increase from the center, you hold down shift and alt. For those using Windows, alt. For those using Mac, option key. Hold down shift and alt. for it to scale up from the center. Hope we all got that. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to get this, what will I call them now? These lines that kind of cut into the shell to make it look like this. So how do I do that? There are multiple ways to do it, but I'll just use the pen tool and draw a straight line. So to use the pen tool, I don't know if we are familiar with the pen tool, but there are two tools that are very similar in Illustrator, the pen tool and the line tool. So the line tool, how the line tool works is the line tool. How the line tool works is you click and drag for you to draw your line. And then if you want it to remain horizontal or vertical, you hold down shift and then it remains horizontal. This is an angle, or it remains vertical, or it snaps to different various selected angles if you hold down shift. But that's for the line. You have to click and drag to draw out a line. It's different from using the pen tool, because if you're with the pen tool, you have to click and then click again on the next point where you want your line to be drawn. If you want to draw a straight line, you have to hold down shift as well. So it's different. That's how it's different from the line tool. I just wanted to put that out there. So I just want to draw a straight line, holding down shift, then click again. Then you press escape. So because the pen tool is, if you keep clicking without pressing escape, it just draws it. It just keeps on, drawing out the shape for you. But for you to like detach the pen from that point, you have to press escape on your keyboard, the escape key on your keyboard. Hope everybody can still hear me. Am I audible enough?
Yes, you are.
All right. So with this line drawn, what do I want to do? First of all, I don't want it to have a fill. I want it to have a stroke because it's the stroke I'm working with. So I'm just going to, from this panel, or from this section here, I'm just going to turn off the fill and then click on the stroke and enable the stroke. So now I want to edit this stroke to look like this. I don't know why this is happening. Sorry about that. Work. I was trying to zoom in and I don't know why my
And coach, I think you can fix it from the bottom there where there's angle there. You just edit the angle and put 0 degrees.
thank you very much. I've actually never experienced that before. Okay, so we are back. Sorry for the break in transmission. At least I've learned something new today. So where was I? I want to edit this stroke or this line to look like the way these ones are looking. So what do I do? How do I achieve that? I'm going to go to the stroke panel here. So from here, I can increase the width. I can set the cap, the edges, how the cap is meant to look. Let me just zoom in very well. So it was in flat before. now it's rounded, and then there's this. So you can edit your stroke from here. But let me just increase the width of my stroke a bit, remove it from rounded, and then from this profile here, there are different profiles that your stroke can adapt. So we can all see what happens if you select anyone here. But I'm going to select this width profile 4 because that's the profile that is close to what we have here. That's close to what we have here. So we have this. The next thing I want to do is to convert this to a shape because it's still a stroke. Because that's the only way it can, like, we can actually use it to get our logo that we're trying to create. So how do we convert it to a shape? Or how do we expand it? Let me just use that word because that's exactly what we are going to do. We are going to expand the stroke into a shape. So how do we do that? With our stroke selected, we go to objects and go to expand appearance. So what that did is that it converted our stroke into a shape. Hope everyone is still following to this point.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. So it's not just one that is on this logo, our reference logo. Let me just lock this layer because I don't like the way it is. So I will just increase this size of this a bit. So now the next thing I want to do is I want to repeat this shape into different angles because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 cutouts in the original logo. And that's the same thing we want to do to this our circle. So how do we do that? With the object selected, we can see this panel below here. But there's this one here that says repeat object.
Sorry, please, I have a
Amarachi.
question. Yes,
Okay.
please, I have a question.
All right.
How did you bring out that panel there for that particular shape?
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
That panel under that shape showing generate, edit part, and how did you bring it out? Like,
Okay, it just came with the Illustrator I'm using. I'm using 2024, the 2024 version of Illustrator. So I think it just came with Illustrator like that. But I don't
okay,
think
if
it's the
you just
same with other versions.
shape.
Yes, once you select an object, that panel is going to be there for that particular object automatically.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
But it's still here anyway. Let me just show you how you can achieve what I want to do the normal way. Let's assume that your own Illustrator does not have this panel under here. Let's just go through the normal route. So I want to repeat this object, but I want to make it like in a circular form or in a radial form. So how do I do that? I'll select the object, go to objects, scroll down till I see repeat, and then click on radial. So we all see what happened or what has happened. So how do I make it look like this? We can see this stuff that I'm dragging on. is to increase the numbers, like the number of repetitions. And then this one is to edit the angle. Then there's this other one here that is to rotate it around. If you reduce it, you see what happens. If you increase it, it's just like reducing the space between them or increasing the space between them. So Control Z. Hope everyone saw how I got to this point before I move further.
No, please. Can you come again?
Okay, let me just repeat myself. Control Z, Z, Z. So I want to like make this shape. To achieve this, I want to like repeat this shape. A lot of people would have done it this way, or amateurs would have done it this way. They will duplicate this. And how do you duplicate a shape? By holding down Alt or Option on your keyboard and clicking and dragging the shape. So to duplicate it. And what they will do is rotate it manually, duplicate it again, rotate it manually. But that's a long process. There is a very easy way to do that or to achieve this in Illustrator. So how did I do that? You select your shape, go under Objects, the Object section, and then scroll down till you see Repeat, and then you choose Radial, Radial Repeat, Radial. Once you click it, this comes up, or this section opens, or your shape turns to this. It has repeated itself, and it has given it this default number. You can actually edit the values here, or you can manually click and drag on this handles here to see what they are going to do. This one here, if you click and drag it inside or outside or around, is rotating the repeated values and is taking them apart from each other or bringing them closer to each other. So we are actually going to use this. This other one is to increase the number of instances or repetitions that your shape has. And then this one down here is to change the angle. So we want to have only seven of this, and to have them at this angle. So I'm just going to manually drag this so I only have them at this angle, and then increase our instances to 7. So close enough. This is close enough to what we have on the shell logo. So hope I didn't lose anybody, or hope nobody is lost at this point. Did you guys understand how I got to where I am?
I'm confused how you reduced it to 7.
Okay, there are actually two ways to do that. Either by this handle here. You want to say something?
No,
Yeah, can that be like a recap of how the radial appeared only at the top and the bottom side is not there? Oh,
Okay. So object, repeat, radial. So to Since we know that it's just this part now, this top part, that we want this stuff to appear. This handle down here, where my mouse is now, is where you can use to adjust the places that you want your stuff to show, or your objects to show. So I'm just adjusting it. Adjusted it. That's why it's not showing at the bottom anymore. Then to increase the number of instances, you can either increase it from here by just typing in the number you want, 7, or you can increase it from here by clicking and dragging this handle up and down. So that's to answer the first question, how I increase the number of instances, and the second question, how I made it to just appear up here. That's basically how I did it. Did I clear that? Or is there still any confusion? Is anybody still confused?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So everything is coming together quite well, if you ask me. So the next thing I'm going to do is to make all this now, to expand all this, because it's still like they're all still joined together in this, like this radial stuff is still editable. But most of the time, what I like to do is to duplicate my shape or whatever I'm working with out first before I expand it, so that in case there is a mistake that I made, I have a copy of it somewhere that I can still work on. So how do I expand this? The same way I expanded the stroke the first time. Go to Objects and go to Expand. And then Expand is going to bring out this object and fill. So just click on OK. Then it has expanded them out into this shape, the way they are looking like this now. So let's say my angle was wrong. And oh, this is not exactly how I wanted it to look. I still have a copy of it here to adjust my angle or the number of instances I want. So that's basically why I duplicated it or copied it out first. Is that clear?
Yes.
All right. So the next thing, everything is coming up. I'll be coming together. The next thing I'm going to do is to add this shape that is under here. So it's just to draw a circle and move it into position. So our shell shape is not still looking, what we have is still not looking like the shell shape here. So how do we remedy that? I'm going to use the pen tool for this. Draw a line. I'm just going to use the angle of this. Escape. Bring out our line. Then this is the angle I want to use. So I'm just going to increase the size of it. Remove the fill and add our stroke. Increase the size of the stroke. And then I want to duplicate it or make a copy of it for the other side, because the one I just got is for one of the sides. For this side, let's say I want to get the one for the second side or the other side. I'm just going to right click on the shape, go to transform, and go to reflect. Reflect is just going to reflect it to the other side, and then I click on copy. So I have two copies of it, one for each of the sides. So I'll just select two of them and bring them here. You're not seeing it because it's the same color with this. So let me just remove the fill color for this shape and make it a stroke instead. Do the same for the rectangle. So everything is coming together little by little. Let's just bring this guy down here. And this guy too down here. Select the two of them. Everybody still following me?
Yes.
Is anybody lost?
Yes, I'm still following.
Okay. So let me just try and match this shape. So with this done, next thing I'm going to do is to bring out our shell shape. So this just looks like a bunch of trash, but to bring out our shell shape from it, what do I do? I'll select everything, and then there's what we call the shape builder tool in Illustrator, shape builder tool, and it is this tool over here. This is the shape builder tool. So I'm going to select the shape builder tool, and then with everything selected, shape builder tool is going to help us build out our shell shape. So if you just click and drag, it's going to be joining shapes together. Clicking and dragging is going to join shapes together. And then the unwanted parts, you hold down Alt or Option for Mac users, Alt for Windows users. Hold down Alt on your keyboard and click and drag over the unwanted parts or the unwanted sections. And voila, we have our shell shape, or what looks like our shell shape. So the next thing I'm going to do is to make these cutouts, or yeah, make these cutouts basically. Let me just change this their fill color to something lighter so we can see it over our shape. So now that we use the shape builder tool, we can see that this our shape is now one. This our shell shape is now one. But if we are not satisfied with our points, just like me now, I'm not satisfied with some points that I'm seeing here. What do I do about it? I use the direct selection tool and select all the points that I want to edit or move up, and then move them up using my arrow tool or my up and down arrow keys. We have something that looks a little similar to our shell logo right here. The next thing that I'm going to do, or obviously anybody that is watching is going to guess, is to cut out these shapes now from this shell shape. So we can use our shape builder tool again, or we can use our pathfinder tools, our pathfinder tool. So how do we use that? We select everything and we go to our pathfinder tool, and then we choose the minus front option, which is the second option. And we see what happened. Is everybody still following to this point?
Yes.
No.
No, please, I didn't get the last part.
I'm sorry, I got lost at the Pathfinder tool.
Okay, so I'm just going to recap in the pathfinder tool. He said, so like I first what I said was the next step to take is to cut out these shapes now, or these triangles, or these our strokes from this our shell tool. So how do we do that? There are two ways to do it. We either use our shape builder tool again, which let me just make a copy of this and show us the two different methods of doing it. So for this first one, I'm going to use the shape builder tool. So how do you use the shape builder tool? Like I just said it now. You come to the shape builder tool. You make sure that your stuff is all your objects are selected first. You come to the shape builder tool, and then you click on the part you want to keep, and then hold down Alt or Option on your keyboard and click on the parts that you don't want to keep. That is one way to achieve that. So we have this shape now. The second way, or the other option, is to use the pathfinder tool. To use the pathfinder tool. So how do you use the pathfinder tool? First of all, to find the pathfinder tool, you have to go to Window and then scroll down till you see Pathfinder. If you don't find it here, or if your Illustrator does not look like mine, so this is the icon for the pathfinder tool. So you select all your objects, and first of all, you have to make sure that the one you want to cut out is in front of the other objects. So obviously, as you can see, the shapes you want to cut out are in front of the shell shape. But to make sure that, to know whether this thing is in front, you can find this from the layer panel here. And to move anything to the front or behind, just by simply clicking and dragging. So I moved it behind this shell tool now, but let me move it back to the top of it. So that is one of the prerequisites before the Pathfinder tool is going to work. So just select all your objects or your shapes that you want to cut out. Click on the Pathfinder tool and then select this second option, minus front. So the object that is in front of the other one is going to disappear. Minus front. So that's how we achieve this cutout. Let me show you how it's going to look if the shell was in front of it. I select everything. The shell is obviously in front of the other objects, and I click on the minus front. What happened was that the shell cut out, or was cut out from the others. I don't know if that makes sense. Did you guys get what I said?
Yes, yes.
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 All right. So we have our shell shape here, but this is not exactly how the shell shape is looking. There's like a border around it. There's a very easy way to do that by just going to the, let's just change the color of our border from here. Double click on it, then change it to whatever we want. Then make sure that our align stroke is this third option, align stroke to outside. Align stroke to outside. This from our stroke tool. Then increase the shape of our stroke. So the next thing we can do, because it's not smooth, it's not like very smooth because of these edges here. So we can actually smooth that out by changing this corner to round, but it's still not giving us what we want. It's not giving us what we want, but it's close to the shell shape anyways. So the next thing we can do is to expand the shape for us to have this our outline to be separate. So how do we do that? By coming to objects and clicking on expand appearance. And then we can see that our shape is in a group now. But let me ungroup it. To ungroup, Control Shift G to ungroup. We can now see that our shape, our outline is different from our stroke. It's different from our shell shape itself. So how do we get rid of all these edges? We just select our outline shape and then click on the direct selection tool. Click on the pen tool directly, sorry. And then on the anchor points, you don't want to keep, just keep anchor points and they will just be deleting automatically. And then there you have it, our shell logo. But is anybody confused? Is anybody confused? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
All right. Hope I didn't lose anybody on the way. Did you guys get everything I did?
Yes.
Okay. So let me just try and match the colors and then we are good to go. So to select color from whatever reference that you have, we have what we call the eyedropper tool. So I'll just select this internal shape and click on the eyedropper tool, which is this tool here, and then select the yellow. Then go back to our stroke shape. Select the eyedropper tool again, or the shortcut is I on your keyboard. I, and then click on the red. So this is our shell logo. That's how you achieve something similar to the shell logo. So, any questions? Does anybody have any question? Does anybody have any question at this point?
No, sir.
Okay, so everybody got everything I did, every step I took to get to or to achieve the shell logo. Is that the assumption?
If you have a question, please ask. There will be assignment to in case you're confused on anything.
I want to ask, will the recording be available on YouTube for the assignment for us to go back and watch it again?
Will the what?
The recording be available on YouTube in case if you want to
Oh,
go back and watch it again.
yeah. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so if there are no questions, I think I I think we'll call it a class or we'll call it a day for today.
Hi, hi, good
Um,
evening.
good evening.
For the I don't even know what to call the shape. For the shape around the at the edge of the shell, that shape as if like it's coming down, that crowny shape right there.
Is it this? I don't know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes,
This cutout,
this stuff,
is it the
yes,
cutout you're
yes,
talking about?
yes. Uh, did you remove the outline or you added both the outline to give it that like look?
Okay. Let me just recap on how I got this to look like the shell logo. So what I did was let me just change the color of the stroke like I did earlier. I went to the stroke panel, changed this align stroke. Instead of it to be at the center, I changed it to align stroke to outside, and then increased the width of my stroke. I mean the weight of my stroke, sorry. Then changed it to round cap. So what I did when I expanded the appearance, it just expanded with the stroke. The next thing I did was to ungroup it because as it is this way now, it is grouped. So I just ungrouped it, Control Shift G, so that this guy is separate on its own and this guy is separate on its own. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Okay. So any other questions? Is there any other thing that anybody is confused about?
Sorry, hi.
I can hear
Hello, can
you.
you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Okay.
hear you.
I wanted to ask the Pathfinder tool and the Shape Builder tool. Is it that they are the same tool or like they are different? Because I don't understand how you were able to use the Pathfinder to remove those the edges of that this thing that you did. So is it that they are the same or like they are different tools?
Okay, the Pathfinder tool is different from the Shape Builder tool. So let me just do something real quick. So if I want to join all these shapes together now, I can either use the Pathfinder tool or the Shape Builder tool. The Pathfinder tool cannot do some things that the Shape Builder tool can do. So let me just explain with practical. So all these circles are together. I want to make them into one shape. I can either come to the Pathfinder tool and then click on Unite, and then all of them are now one. To use the Shape Builder tool to achieve that same purpose, and then all of them are one. Almost the same tool, but they have different use cases. So now, let's say you draw something, you sketch a logo, and then I'm just doing something real quick. Sonia, your hand is up. I just want to explain something. But you can ask your question. Ask your question.
Oh, no, sorry, I did not. I don't want to ask a question. I'm actually following what you're doing. It was a mistake. I'm sorry.
Okay, okay, no problem. So I just want to do something. Okay. So let's say this is what you want to achieve. For example, you want to achieve something like this. Let me just use the Shape Builder tool. This is what you wanted to achieve. With the Pathfinder tool, you can't achieve this the way that the Shape Builder tool did it. There is no tool here that will help you achieve that stuff I just did with the Pathfinder tool. I don't know if you get what I mean. So they are just different use cases. In as much as they are similar, like for stuff like this, you can use the Shape Builder tool and the Pathfinder tool to achieve something like this. They just want to join everything together or subtract something from the front or something. But for more complex stuff, the Pathfinder tool may not be able to help you, especially when you want to cut some things out and join some things together. I don't know if that answers your question. Favor, did I answer your
It
question?
you
Sorry, it's
did.
not Favor. All right, all right. So is there still any confusion, any question about any of the tools? So I clear it up. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, you can.
Okay. So if there are no other questions, then I think we'll just call it a class.
Okay. So no other questions. Like, okay, since there are no questions, thank you very much, Emeka. Today's class was very insightful. I actually learned a lot, and I'm sure we all did. We really appreciate. Thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
All right. So you guys, any other information, you get it on Slack. So until then, thank you, Luca. Thank you everybody for joining. All right.
Good night. Enjoy your
Good
weekend.
night, everybody. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.